bit of TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome here to a news roundup video with particular emphasis on the transfer window, because I haven't done one of these for a little while. I wanted to bring you fully up to date with everything right now that's going on with Barcelona. So in this video we are going to see the latest on Luca Jovic, our pursuit of that striker, is it going to happen, and also Matias De Ligt from Ajax, when and if that transfer is going to get over the line. We're also going to be looking into the future of Philippe Coutinho and also some players from Barcelona who left the Premier League and exactly how they've got on. All of that and some more coming up today. Let's do this! But I want to start here straight away with the future and our pursuit of Eintracht Frankurt forward Luca Jovic. And I have to say, this one, on the face of it right now, is looking extremely unlikely to gather any pace. The serious doubts began really about 2 weeks ago or so. It was Luca Jovic's father who came out publicly. He spoke to the media. He said basically that his son would have serious doubts over his playing time should he sign for Barcelona. And he was worried really that if he went there, obviously Suarez is ahead of him, but would he be able to earn that spot and play enough football? And his father basically said that it's unlikely for that reason that he would be going the way of Barcelona. And from then on in really, the Spanish media certainly got onto that story. They began then to doubt Barcelona's interest altogether in Jovic, saying basically they scouted him more than 15 times overall. They'd really done their homework on this man, but there were still doubts over Jovic's link-up play and his capabilities outside of the penalty area. Obviously inside the box, he's been prolific this season, incredible in front of goal, a phenomenal finisher, but outside the area, that link-up so important at Barcelona. There are doubts over that area of his game, and a week ago though, he did officially sign for Eintracht Frankurt permanently from Benfica, so Frankfurt are now in full control of his future, and apparently the Europa League semi-finalists, that's what they are. Jovic has done incredibly well in getting them there, but they're now actually going to be seeking a fee for Jovic between 60 to 80 million euros for him this summer, and ultimately what they're looking for right now is exactly what Barcelona wanted to avoid. All they want is a bidding war. Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, PSG, they want all of those clubs to come together and just keep raising that price up and up and up. Frankfurt want to make the most they possibly can, and you can understand why, over this transfer. But as of right now, according to the media in Spain and also those reports coming out of Germany, his most likely destination this summer is now Real Madrid. The sporting director, Freddy Bobic, actually came out yesterday and he said although we'd like to keep Jovic at Eintracht, we must be realistic. If a club like Madrid come in for him, we do not have a chance to keep him at the club. So as of right now, Barcelona's interest, bit by bit, has been waning. Real Madrid, the new favourites. But now onto a transfer that certainly looks a lot more promising in Barcelona's favour, and that is our pursuit of Ajax defender Matias De Ligt. And we haven't heard anything recently. That's really important here. Over the last few days, the last few weeks or so, there hasn't been a tremendous amount of coverage over the De Ligt to Barcelona deal, and there's a very distinct reason for that, because right now, I don't think we're going to hear anything at all, certainly nothing official, until the Champions League has reached its conclusion. And the reason for that is, when you look at Ajax in the Champions League semi-final, they're chasing as well a massive league title for them. They're enjoying an unbelievable season, unforgettable in many ways, and the last thing they want right now is distractions. They don't want media coverage, they don't want players who are going to be leaving and things like that in the press. They don't want anything like that at this stage of the season, and you know as well, Matias De Ligt is the kind of character, he is going to be 100% committed on the job in hand. All he wants to think about right now is Ajax, and when the summer comes, the summer comes. That's when we're going to deal with the transfers when the season is over, and I think right now for that reason, things are going very well. I do believe that Barcelona have agreed basically in principle what Ajax want with regard to a transfer fee. They've certainly spoken to De Ligt himself, who's happy to join the club. He wants to follow Frenkie de Jong to Barcelona, and I do really believe this transfer will go ahead in the summer. Juventus right now cannot compete with Barcelona for De Ligt, and that was our biggest competition. As of right now, De Ligt, unbelievable for Ajax this season. He's been a colossal part in this Ajax team. He would be an unbelievable addition to any team right around the world. He would make a massive difference coming in, and it's not even just defending. It's not even just the way he defends, the defending style that he has. De Ligt has also got a real presence in the opposition box, because he followed up his goal, his match-winning goal against Juventus in the Champions League when he knocked Juventus out single-handedly there with that header coming in, powerful, brave, bold, everything that Matias De Ligt did. He followed that up with yet another vital goal in the Eredivisie title race yesterday as Ajax beat Vitesse Arnhem last night, and De Ligt once again at the forefront, and I really do believe this one is still looking good, even though right now the two clubs have bigger priorities. But now on to another big money player. This time, though, his future is unsettled for different kind of reasons to De Ligt, because it's Philippe Coutinho that we're going to talk about here. Just a few days ago, following his very, very difficult reception from the Camp Nou on Saturday, he did receive a few whistles, he did receive a few boos following that celebration against Manchester United. Cope basically came out, and they're usually reliable when it comes to Barcelona. They came out and said that Barcelona have already met with Coutinho's entourage, they've already sat down, they've discussed things, and they basically assured them that Coutinho is not going to be sold this summer. That is the feeling right now from Barcelona. They want everything to be calm, they want Coutinho to be happy, they want to feel settled, and they've said, look, you're not going to be leaving, just stay nice and calm. However, there is a bit of a twist, simply because Cope then go on to say, if Coutinho himself, though, wanted to leave, if he actively wanted to go this summer, then the club would be willing to part ways with him if an offer of 100 million euros arrives this summer. So Barcelona, they don't really want to sell Coutinho. They've told him that, they've certainly sat down and they've assured him of his Barcelona future. But if on the other hand, he's the player to force it, he's the player who wants out, Barcelona could help facilitate that move in the summer transfer window. And I think, to be honest, this is one of those stories, one of those rumours that's going to run and run and run right the way throughout the summer transfer window. At the moment, so many stories, so many contradictions on the side of Coutinho, and all I hope right now is that Coutinho himself can leave all these kind of matters, all this talk, outside of the field. Go out there on the pitch with a clear mind, with a clear attitude, be focused on the task in hand. All he has to think about right now is what he does on that pitch, proving himself, performing well, and hopefully, in the weeks to come, helping us complete a historic season. Another player that I do want to discuss for very different reasons once again is Denis Suarez, somebody who has left Barcelona, initially only on loan, of course, at the end of the January transfer window. He joined Arsenal on loan until the end of the season for a 2 million loan fee. And I have to say, the reason that I'm bringing this story is Denis Suarez right now is really, really struggling, and he hasn't made any impact whatsoever in North London. 67 Premier League minutes is all that he's managed so far since his signing on loan in January. 28 Europa League minutes, certainly absolutely no game time whatsoever for Denis under Unai Emery. He's currently out injured. He's currently out injured now with a groin problem that's been troubling him over his time with Arsenal, but it really hasn't happened. Very unlucky once again. Certainly doesn't have the faith of Unai Emery, a coach who he previously worked under and flourished back under his days at Sevilla, but he hasn't been played, and the cameos that he's had, he's looked unsettled. He hasn't looked like he fits in the Premier League at Arsenal, and he's somebody right now who's certainly suffering with a severe lack of confidence, and he's had really probably the same limited game time that he suffered at Barcelona, and it's almost certain right now that Arsenal will not be paying the 25 million buy option that he has in his contract that could enable him to stay in the Premier League this summer. It's very, very likely now that Denis is going to return at the end of his loan spell, and he will most likely be sold in the summer if suitable offers do come in for him. But on the complete flip side of that, in the Premier League, I've had a lot of you guys coming to me and saying, look, can you talk about the performances of some really good players who've left Barcelona and really exploded and come to life in the Premier League this season? And the two players that you guys have mentioned are Lucas Digne and Gerard Delph. And I want to start here with Lucas Digne, because I think certainly him coming into Everton at a difficult time, they were going through a bit of a transitional period. They were trying basically to replace Leighton Baines in that left-back slot, who'd been so consistent for year upon year upon year at Goodison Park. But Digne has been outstanding. Everton themselves have had a bit of an inconsistent season. They've been coming into a bit of good form of late. But Digne, right throughout the season, has been a constant source of quality from that left-hand side. Throughout their campaign, he has been brilliant. He's been scoring goals, taking free kicks, he's looked confident, he's provided assists, he's been solid defensively. He really has adapted to the Premier League, and I think he's thrived in that. It looks like a league that really suits him, and he's played in all but 3 of Everton's Premier League games this season. And you look at it now, the 20 million euros, that's all that it was that we sold him for last summer, and given his fine form this season, I'm sure Everton are going to receive offers for him in the coming summer. And also, from our perspective, you look at the troubles we had this season for a backup for Jordi Alba. We haven't had anybody, we haven't been able to rotate Jordi Alba without really suffering as a team. Lucas Digne, 20 million euros, that looks an absolute steal right now. But hey, hindsight, as always, is a wonderful, wonderful thing. But it's much the same story as well with Gerard Delph, who took his team to an FA Cup final earlier this month. It was an outrageous goal that he scored against Wolves at Wembley. Absolutely magnificent. And he's been a hit in the Premier League too, thriving under Javi Gracia, the Spanish coach, playing in a way that he likes in this high-flying Watford team. Delph has often played in a more central role than he did at Barca, not only as a winger, but certainly cutting inside, and sometimes even as the centre-forward himself. And he's looked all the better for it. He scored 9 times so so far in the Premier League. He's created 5 goals. But to be honest, we haven't really seen anything from Delph that we didn't already know about him. He's a talented guy. He's somebody who likes to run with the ball, likes to keep the ball. He can be selfish at times. But when he does get the ball in that final third area, he can cause problems. He can score goals. I watched him score a hat-trick live against Cardiff this season, and he was absolutely unplayable on that day. And I think it's simply the fact that many of these players coming through at Barcelona, they clearly do have the talent. Delph has been, and has been since he was a youngster, a very, very talented player. And it's only really when they leave at times that you do see that talent really come through. And I think looking at Delph in particular, at Watford, he's got dramatically less pressure on his shoulders, a lot less expectation, and he has a much, much bigger role in the team. He feels more important, and that in itself will give him more confidence. He's the man they look to. He's the man they'll try and pass to give opportunities to, and to try and help him to succeed. Whereas at Barcelona, it's almost roles reversed. These players coming through the system, they've got to handle that big pressure from a young age. They've got to deal with those expectations. They've got to be the ones providing chances for other players. They've got to work hard for the team simply for the chance to go out there and shine and to earn that right, really, to play and express themselves. And at Barcelona, simply, it doesn't happen sometimes. Some of these young players, they come through, they leave, they flourish, and it never really happens for them at Barcelona. And I think sometimes you've just got to hold your hands up and say, look, it didn't work out for whatever reason, but elsewhere, they can be hits. And you can certainly say that for Digne and Delph, and I'm delighted in many ways to see both of them doing very well this season. And so that is that for today's roundup, guys. Hopefully this does bring you up to date with a lot of things that have been going on right now, but like I say, not too much talk on the transfer front, simply because Barcelona fighting on all fronts for that treble, wanting the Champions League more than anything else. That is our priority right now. We cannot allow for any distractions whatsoever. Leave your thoughts on all of the topics mentioned in today's video in the comments down below. I will see you soon, of course, with more videos. But until next time, as always, Vesca El Barça.